All right, sports fans, it's Friday, and it's another episode of Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
And welcome to our show. We're so excited that you're here.
Yep.
And we're going to have a lot of really cool stuff to talk about today because I think there's a lot of really interesting things going on in our industry and the marketplace. So buckle up.
Yeah.
We've got an awesome show coming, and I think it's going to be lots of fun. So how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good. I've been out of town all week. Was in Chicago, and Chicago.
Was it windy?
It was. It's extremely windy here and everywhere in the Midwest. It is the Windy City. But you know what? The weather was great. Chicago is one of those towns where I love it. I hate it. I hate the traffic. Great customers there. It was a good trip. Of course, next week I'll be back at the end of the week. I got the DAC show. I have two. GSG will be there.
Right.
Two other distributors will be there. So if you're
Awesome.
going to be in Chicago at the DAC show, come see me.
Great. That's awesome. You're going to be in the Easy Way booth?
Easy Way is not having a booth. I have two dealers I'm working with. T&J and Graphtech will be there, and then GSG will be there too. So,
oh, great. Awesome. Well, make sure you go by the GSG booth.
Absolutely.
There's a reason, right?
There is a reason.
Look right above Alan's head.
There is a reason. So a lot going on, and I got to go back to Chicago the week after. So this is going to be a Chicago month. So
next week I'll be in the Pennsylvania area. Going to two shops. I'm going flying into Pittsburgh, and I'm going to go see Joe, a Gorilla Joe, on Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll be at David Slagle's shop, B Graphics, on Tuesday and Wednesday. So
two great people.
Yeah, really looking forward to that trip. So that's going to be great. So
it's so great you're flying into Pittsburgh because Joe's shop is actually in Youngstown, Ohio, 45 minutes from there. I'm actually going to be an hour away the other way from you, and but we will not see each other. So we have
that's okay.
Stuff to do. It's okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're both working guys. So
yep. So
let's say hey to some folks, and just a reminder that this is a Q&A show, so we really need your participation. So send us your comments, send us your questions. Also, if you could right now, share that you're watching, and we would love to rope in other viewers. So that really helps us out. So it doesn't take much effort on your part. Just share that you're watching, and here's the link, and let's see if we can get a bigger audience today. That would be great.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
Here we got Charles is here from New Mexico. What's up, guys? Happy Friday, everyone.
Yep.
Right there back at you. Frank from SNS is here. Good morning. Frank. And Sean is here from Alpharetta.
From Georgia.
And Scott's here from Florida. Hey, Scott. How you doing? And Cindy's here from Texas. Good morning.
Good morning, Cindy.
Good seeing you. Josh is here from Oklahoma.
Yep.
All right. And Mario's here. And Mario's
Slovenia.
That's right. Great. And Justin's here. Hey, Justin, how you doing?
California.
Yep. And Cal's here. Good seeing Cal. Yep. Artem's here. Hey.
Artem from Logo.
I'll be in Artem's shop in July. So
okay.
Looking forward to that.
Where is that at? Where's Artem
in the Seattle area?
Okay, great.
Sean's here. You mentioned Davis. I just watched the summit presentation. Really made me start a discussion with myself. Hey, don't let anybody watch you doing that, okay? Because they'll
lock you up. Yeah.
They'll lock you up, right? Simon's here. Good morning.
Hey, Simon.
And Nate's here. Good morning, fellas. New shop. That's right. Where's your shop? Let everybody know that.
Yeah.
Richard says, good afternoon from Michigan. Nice seeing you.
Richard. Yep.
Yep. He's moving in a month. Right. So that's exciting. All right. Oh, and Scott has my screen print guy said, thanks for getting us on board with the easy way reclaiming system. They're mad at me I didn't do it sooner. There you go.
Scott, you're welcome. I'm glad I was able to help. I actually saw one of the guys from Raider Industries at Atlantic City show, and they came up to me and thanked me for sending you to them. So,
well, that's great.
Glad you're taken care of, and that's what it's all
still
about.
Work there?
I believe Tiffany Raider Spritz still works there. Bill Christian still works there. Sean Raider.
Good.
Good people down at Raider in Florida. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Right. Well, hey, there's a happy customer. There's nothing better than that.
We love happy customers.
Yeah. And Scott, by the way, give him a shout out. He posted on Facebook about my consulting with him. And that was really awesome for him to do that. So thanks, Scott.
In Scott's in Okeechobee, is it?
Yeah.
Been there. I fished Lake Okeechobee.
Have you?
Yep.
Do you get a bluegill? You get some bass? What'd you get?
Big bass in Okeechobee. That's all you fish for. Big bass.
Well, you can fish for a fish. Doesn't mean that's what you're catching.
I caught big bass. I caught one of the biggest bass I've ever caught. I caught 8-pounder there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Frank wants to know, is that the Blue Water Labs machine?
What machine? What is
what
a Blue
talking
Water?
about Scott. Scott, I don't think.
No, Scott got a dip tank.
Yeah.
We're talking about Blue Water Lab machines are out there. There's a couple going in the Texas area I know of, but
yeah, we should have one. We should have the shop that buys one on so we can talk about it.
I'll see if I can get that set up. A couple of them going in, I think, are GSG clients. So I'll talk to the guys at Blue Water, see if we can't get that set up.
Yeah. So Simon says he caught a big bass and he cannot lie.
Yep.
Cal says, I should have sold you my reclaiming system. Just kidding. That system's great. Yeah. And then Ray's here. So good morning. All right. Well, great. So thanks, everyone. Good seeing you all. And why don't we pay some bills and then we'll get into some topics.
Sounds good.
So here's a little promo from GSG. So enjoy.
Yep. Can't wait to the new one.
Yeah. When is that?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Okay. Here we go. I hope they keep the song though.
I do. I actually that's my ring.
I like the music. It's kind of kind of used to it now.
It's my ringtone. I should.
Is it really? Is your ringtone?
No, I should put that as the ringtone for everybody from GSG.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
That'd be great.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
If you wanted a custom ringtone, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, I don't either, but I'm sure there's a way.
Somebody knows how to. I should ask my son. He probably knows how to do that.
We'd probably have to just get the song from Daniel and.
Yeah, but if you wanted to add that on purpose to your phone.
Oh yeah, I don't know how we'd have to ask a 14-year-old. They know how to do that.
Well, he's 18, so he's had that knowledge for 4 years, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. Okay. Hey, so what's our first topic?
Well, I like what Sean says. That's new. We've never heard that before.
Yeah. But the music is about 50% louder than your mic volume.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what's up with that.
It's kind of out of our control.
Tim says, get an iPhone. Duh. Tim's on me about always getting an iPhone because I don't have one.
He needs to get one, Tim. I agree with you.
Hey, don't start that.
I will.
I like my phone. I just don't know. I just don't know how to use it. That's the problem.
Tim's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my younger brother, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about inflation, right?
Oh, let's.
And by the way, we don't want to get into the politics of this. So if you're on one side or the other, we don't care. Okay. So save that.
because
what we want to talk about is stuff's going on and how we're reacting to it, right?
yeah,
That's the most important thing, not the causal effects of things.
yeah,
Right.
that's
So,
out of our control. We have
right.
to look at what we can control of what's going on.
Yeah. So, as we all know, prices are going up, right? Gas, fuel, supplies, different things. And how are we reacting to that? How are your customers reacting to that? And so I just want everybody to be really looking at this and thinking, is this going away anytime soon?
Right.
I don't think so. What do you think, Alan?
Well, I don't think anything like this ever goes away soon. It didn't get here. Well, it got here overnight, it seems like, but it takes longer to go away. It's
Right.
like debt. You can get into debt pretty quickly. You're going to get out of debt slowly. So,
well, unless you got the rich uncle.
Yeah, well, the rich uncle is going to give you money, then that would be nice, but that usually is not a reality either.
Yeah, right.
So,
True.
you know what? It's one bit of a time. So no matter what it is, we have to look at what are we doing with the situation around us? How are you staying profitable in your business? How are you adjusting your life personally? And there has to be adjustments. If you're going the same way that you've always done, you're in trouble.
And what we don't want to be doing is really just pissing our clients off either. Right. And so we know that there is going to be price adjustments and we need to do stuff. So it's really, I think, is in what we also want is looking ahead and understanding your pricing, understanding your margins, understanding your, and we're reacting that in a responsible way. Right. And I talk to a lot of shop owners, and I can tell you, especially when I'm starting to work with them initially, or maybe it's a discovery call, I can't tell you how many people don't know their numbers.
Yeah.
They aren't doing a good job with their books. They don't run a proper P&L. They don't know, what their profit margin is on things, right? And they think they know, but when I start asking them the questions, they can't answer it, right? And so I think right now is a perfect time for you to take an assessment on what your real costs are.
Yeah.
Right. And just really be looking at that. And then maybe you need to contact your suppliers, or you need to be talking about things. Is your pricing going up? What is going on? And then what is the percentage of that going to be? Right. Mm-hmm. And it could be different for different products or different items, and some things will stay the same and some things might be going up. Mm-hmm. And so I think you really need to dig into this a little more to make some responsible decisions.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing out there, Alan?
Well, the same thing. Everybody is watching their cost. The companies that know what their costs are, either they're watching it and complaining about it, or they're watching it and they're reacting to it, which is what you need to do. And you don't want to have a reaction. You want to have a plan. You want to be able to adjust to it. Many of them are looking a lot. Of course, what I see in the production end of it, there are people, they are still looking for how can they reduce their labor costs, how they can be more self-sufficient, how they can be more, have their SOPs and be more lean. One company I went to did buy a new M&R Ecotex. They're actually keeping their old auto reclaim just for redundancy and growth, just so they can keep screens out, keep screens going all the way through, and not have to buy new screens.
Right.
And they said at least right now that's their plan. Who knows? They might sell the older one later on. And I don't think that's a bad plan.
Right.
They are adjusting. This is the same company during COVID and coming through it. They had to really adjust. They would do a lot of events and they would ship bulk, and they had to get into the individual shipping to each individual. And, you just have to adjust to that. So
I think some people are putting a fuel surcharge on things. I see that. and especially in the transportation sector.
Right.
So that's one way to keep some pricing normal. And then because of fuel, there's going up a little bit. And the idea here is when fuel goes back down, it returns to a more stable thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it isn't across the board forever. It's just right now, right?
And that's pretty common in the shipping industry. There's always been fuel surcharges of some sort. It seems like I don't know the surcharge on retail is always good. Anytime you have an extra line item of something like that, it just irritates people. I always felt it was better to build it right into your cost.
Right.
Just from an aesthetics look, it drives me nuts when I see on whether it be a phone bill or something like that, and they would have all these other charges and stuff, and they would have miscellaneous fees. I'm like, what is miscellaneous fees?
Right.
Well,
the guy needed a sandwich.
Exactly. And you've seen that, and I just lose my mind. So,
right.
Everybody knows if you have a client that is just complaining about you're having to raise pricing and stuff, cut that person loose. They might just be having a bad day because, like me, they had to, fill up their car and it cost them $100. And, I'm just irritated about the whole situation. And you end up laying into someone.
Yeah.
But, if they're saying, hey, I can go somewhere else, your pricing's out of range, you keep raising them. Yeah, well, okay, go.
Right.
Good luck.
And I've talked to several business owners, and we talk about pricing. And one of the things that seems to be working really well is just not even telling your customers that you've raised the price, and because that sets off the alarms. So when you're doing a quote and you've got a price increase, it's just this is the price, and you're not even touching that, right? It's just
Agreed.
Here's the price. And then people will just accept it, right? And that seems to be, I've had, 3-4 dozen conversations about it, and that seems to be probably the one that's working the best, rather than doing some sort of announcement that this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And so it's just really about how you're doing it and what you're doing, right? So we got some comments. Right. So Cal says adjusting is your best bet.
Absolutely.
Ray says reactions to inflation. And I'm seeing that work. Group buys for common materials split among clients for better pricing. That's very interesting. So if you've got, you're in wherever your area is, and maybe there's 3 or 4 shops, maybe you could group buy a drum of something and then split it up. That might be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Justin says he's not only guilty, he's super guilty.
And that's Justin, you're a young business owner, and the fact that you've realized that is half the battle. Now you got to do something about it.
Yeah, you need to understand your numbers, buddy.
You might want to set a time with Marshall.
Yeah, well, and then please, Justin, let's talk. Richard says I have 4 clients seriously looking for buildings. Right. Yeah. Oh man, 90% of all shops do not know what their real costs are. The little things add up faster than the big things. Labor is rarely the largest baseline cost.
It might be a little bit more now, Ray, but yeah.
Well, it depends on the business.
True, absolutely.
Interest rates went from 2.15 to 4 on April the 1st. Yep.
Right. Yep.
There is no other move.
Nope.
So the client should only see 3 buckets: raw materials, overhead, and labor time. Okay, I like that. Hurley says, good morning.
From Canada.
Right. Simon says a surcharge really shows the integrity of supplier. If you truly lower or drop it as costs roll back, then your customers will recognize that it was not a gouge. If you leave it there, then a simple price increase is a long-term profit game if prices do, in fact, roll back.
I would agree.
That's a great point. Thank you for saying that. And then Ray says this can actually be done from at the dealer level with a level work. Okay, good. Those are great comments. Keep them coming, right?
And when I say the labor might be a little bit bigger, it might not be in cost, but I think of just finding people becomes the labor issue on that is why people are.
Well, we're going to talk. We got a little topic coming up about employees, so let's save that.
Yep.
But just from an overall cost perspective, I think labor certainly is going up, and we all see that. I've been talking with a lot of shop owners, and they're really trying to find skilled labor, and some of them, their rate that they're advertising is less than what somebody can get paid to work at Subway, right? So why are they not getting any traction? It's because look what other businesses around you are charging. Are paying for their labor, right? So I think you really have to be cognizant of what's going on around you. And you don't want to pay somebody $22 an hour. I get it. Okay. But when you can't find any people, you got to do what you got to do. Right. And of course, this means that all of your other labor has to go up. And then how does that work into your pricing?
Correct.
So it's just something that there is no easy answer. There is no magic bullet. And so we have to do the hard, heavy lifting, and we have to do it with it on purpose and really kind of just sit down and figure it out. Right. And I think this is really important. And because of these inflationary pressures, if you don't adjust, right, here's another nail in your coffin.
Right.
Later on down the road. Don't you think?
I agree. And it still just goes back to knowing your costs. If you don't know your labor costs, if you don't know your supply costs, material costs, you have to know. You can't just know one of them. You got to know them all.
Right. I can't tell you how many times you talk to a printer, Al, and you say, how much does it cost you to print? And they go, I don't know, 25 cents.
Yeah. Are you asking me or telling me? You don't know? That's a problem.
Yeah, they have no clue, right? And and it's like, no, every dollar that you're spending has to be in your pricing, right? Absolutely. And it's not just how much does your ink cost, right? That ink is such a tiny amount, tiny microscopic fraction of what it costs you to do the work. It's not even funny.
And when it comes to ink, you control the cost of what it costs you too, whether you're controlling it or not controlling it also.
Yeah, right.
How much does ink cost? Well, that's a little bit up to you.
Let's not even get into double stroking underbases.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So, that could be up to you. Your ink cost is high because you're wanting it to be high.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a rabbit hole. We'll save for another deal.
Absolutely.
All right. So Sarah's here. Good morning from Kansas.
Sarah, is this your first time?
Yeah, I don't recall seeing her before. So
let us know.
Thanks for watching. We're in Kansas.
Yeah, we're in Kansas, and tell us about your business. So thank you.
And how happy are you that your team won?
Yeah, Rock Chalk Jayhawks, man.
Yeah. So Ray says the labor may be the largest number, but it's rarely the largest cost. In most cases, I can show that better efficiency in purchasing can increase profit, less scrap, less cost per unit.
I can agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Well, so labor is a cost because it's right there as a number, right? Being inefficient is hard to find. So that's a check and I talk about this a lot. That's a check that you're writing and you don't even know you're writing it.
Yep, agreed.
Right. So it's hidden. You have to have somebody to come in and help you with that to uncover what it's really costing you. Right. And that's what, Ray does. And I do. And Richard does. That's kind of one of the things that we work on. Right. So great comment. Love that. Right. As you knew I would. So anything else about inflation we should discuss?
I think it's just everywhere too. It's,
Do you think it's still going to keep going up?
Yes. I don't know where the ceiling is. I don't know. I mean, the fear of me is, Marshall, you and I remember growing up and there were gas lines and stuff like that. I remember 60%, interest on houses and stuff. as a kid. My parents bought one during that, and I look back and go, "What were you thinking?" But it was lower than 20 what it was or whatever. But yeah,
Well,
so I worry about stuff like that. But
yeah.
again, I can't control it. All I can do is control what I can control.
Well, how I see things is there's so many external pressures going on, and I know companies are raising their prices to make the profit that they want, and I totally get that, right? But will they be coming back down? Right? Is this pricing going to be forever?
Right.
And that's just in everything. At the grocery store, at the gas line, it's
Right.
FedEx, UPS, whatever, right? Who knows what's going to go on, right? And so what happens is it's kind of like the tail wagging the dog a little bit. The only way that you can compete is to keep raising your pricing, and that what happens is the pricing keeps going up. So there isn't a place to stop it.
Yeah.
And so that it's kind of a worrisome thing, and I think we just have to pay attention and act accordingly. So,
agreed. Yeah. Yep.
All right. So where are we on comments? So Sarah says, I work for Messenger Total Promotions in Minneapolis, Kansas. I didn't know there was a Minneapolis, Kansas.
I had no idea.
How often is your mail misdirected?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So that's kind of interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up on a map. Cindy says we're running into and out of competitors that are still quoting prices from the 90s. How are these people still in business, Cindy?
Right. Let them quote it.
And are they still wearing their members only jacket?
That was the 80s.
Oh, the 80s. Okay. Are they still wearing their parachute pants?
That was the 80s too. Try again.
Okay, I'm stuck in the 80s. What was in the 90s?
I don't know. I was an adult then.
Cal says attract more people and make more money. Yes, inflation is going to increase. Fuel costs did not start it, but it will sustain it. Fuel is just not transport costs, is raw material ingredient at many levels.
Correct.
Yes. And grunge.
That's right. It's grunge. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Nirvana Soundgarden. How can I not remember that? Yeah.
Thank you, flannel shirt lumberjack.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Doc Martens. Now it's all coming back. Here we go.
Yeah, it's all coming back in an IPA induced haze.
Yep.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit. One thing leads to another. Cash flow.
Yeah.
And I think this is really super important. And I think a big challenge, and especially if you're not following a good business practices, cash flow is how you go right straight out of business.
Yep.
Because you're busy, but you can't afford to be in business because you've run out of credit. You can't buy anymore. You can't do anything because of how you operate, how you handle your money, how you do things. And so I'm going to say it again for probably the 9 millionth time. Start charging 100% upfront.
Absolutely.
Don't do 50-50. Don't do net 30. It's all the money now. Thank you. You're not a bank. Okay. It's okay to say no. It's okay to do some different things. And I think because of COVID, this has afforded us the best opportunity to change our financial practices that we've ever had in business because of COVID. So
I think, Marshall, too, more people are receptive then, don't even think twice about paying 100% up front because we do it all the time. I just ordered stuff online, 100% up front. Will it fit me? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I'll return it. Yeah.
Did you pay for it?
Yes, I did. 100% up front.
There you go. So I had somebody I talked to earlier this week who wanted to work with me. And I'm like, okay, here's how I work. You got to pay me. Like, well, that's not how we do it. I go, well, sorry, that's not how I work. And he's like, well, we're so-and-so and we're a big company and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, well, that's not how I work. And it seems like if you're such a big company, you can afford to pay me up front. And so I said no to the client. And just because I don't want to have to be chasing the money. I want the money now, right? And it's okay. It's okay for me to say no, right? So, I think you have to have kind of some guardrails in place to operate your business better.
Agreed.
And so I think this is one of them, right? So if you have the money up front, if you have the all the cash, right? Guess what happens? You can pay your people. You can order the shirts. You can order the consumables, the ink, the emulsion, whatever you need, right? You can do all that because you've got money in the bank.
Yep. I think too, once you have cash flow too, it's all how you use it also. To remember, cash flow is king. So when you're making capital purchases,
right,
you can always go to your bank, hit your credit line, pay cash, and that might not always be the smartest thing. When you can go to your bank, that means you've cut into your line of credit, and now you've just shut something else off. So this is where a finance company, a DCA lease, a Geneva, something like that comes in.
right.
The interest might be a little bit more, but it's not cutting into your credit lines, which you're going to need. It's not cutting into your cash flow. You are now investing in with other people's money. You have the cash. Most of lease companies now, they're called, but they're finance companies, do a pay early off on it. So you've got to start looking at stuff like that and be smarter with your cash, because cash is king, because you're going to need to grow. You're going to need to upgrade and invest in equipment. Just because of inflation, because of everything we've talked about, and you're going to want to keep that cash in your hands.
Right. And how many shops over the years, especially really big ones, super busy clients, super busy shops, just lock their doors. Employees come into work.
Yep.
Can't get in. What's going on? Business is closed. What happened? We ran out of money.
And you know what? The employee said the same thing. We can't be out of business. We're too busy. Busy has nothing to do with success.
Right. Well, as our friend Mark Coudray says all the time, are you busy being busy, or are you busy being profitable?
Yep, absolutely.
So, and I think how you manage your money is a key part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, cash is king, right? You need to get the money. And so how do you handle inflationary pressure? Okay. You don't do 50-50.
Right.
Right. So, I think that's important. All right. So Cindy says, that's what I want to know. Thanks, Cindy. Ray says, I had to drop my net 30 to net 15 for client payments. Some clients now have to pay travel up front.
Which is fine, because we have to pay travel up front. Airline tickets, you all get paid up front.
I travel, right? Yep. And that's what I do, right? And
they don't let me do net 30. Delta, I've asked them, and they just kind of, who are you? No.
Right. Cindy says, popping out. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. You too, Cindy. Thank you for watching.
Yep.
Daryl's here, says, seems like you're not sure there's value. Exactly.
Yep.
If you can't close the deal, it is because people don't understand your value. That's just an awesome statement, Daryl. Thanks for sharing that. And I think it's really important that your customers understand your value, and if they totally get your value, they don't really mind paying whatever you're charging.
Yep. Here's
a case in point. Up front here, one of the comments was commenting on how I should get an iPhone, right? Plenty of people spend the crazy amount of money for the iPhone. Okay. I don't get the value, which is why I don't own an iPhone. I have a Google Pixel. That's what I like. Right. And, I don't, there's the extra money it costs. There's no value for me. Right. So
I need Tim Atkinson to respond.
It's not worth it. Right. So you have to do a better job of explaining the value. Right.
No, absolutely.
So this is from you talking with your customers when you're presenting something, and really kind of what you want more than anything is really good alignment. You want fit. You want to make sure you understand their problem and you're solving for that problem. And a lot of times we're trying to shove things down people's throats.
Yep.
Right? It's shove things down people's throats and they don't understand the value. And it's because you haven't explained it well. Right. So,
yep. Exactly.
Cal says, that's why I stay small.
Lean and mean, baby.
Okay. Peter says, I'm sure distributors will start getting away with net 30 terms soon. And that scares me. Daryl says, welcome, coach. Thanks, buddy. Dan's here. Hey, gang.
I'm Dan. Yep.
Just because you haven't realized the value of that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Thank you, Tim.
So Mike says, if we don't have reserves, we not have survived the past 2 years. We have now switched to 100% upfront, and it's so much nicer.
Very
so
good.
Profit first, by the way, you take a chunk of that money and you throw it into a savings account, right? If you've read the book, you know that it's in a different bank than you normally use. And it's better to have 2 signatures on it so you can't just get it out. It's harder to get it out. And that way there's a war chest of money sitting there when you need it.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's something that if you haven't read Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, I suggest you get on the train, go to Amazon. I bet you can find a used copy for $2 or $3. Right? It's been out for a couple of years. Ray says what Marshall's saying, with large companies that are used to paying net 30 or 60, negotiate for special vendor profile or number that lists you as a direct pay vendor.
Oh, good. Good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
So get to the top of the list.
Yep. Be a preferred vendor. Yeah.
Right. I love it. So Rob says, came in late, but regarding credit terms, best things you can do is stay inside the terms. And if there's an issue, call and speak to someone to work out a plan.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks, Rob.
I know Rob was traveling this week too. I sent a text to him in between travels. So Rob, thank you for your help.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I don't want to just beat this as a dead horse here, but if you guys have any issues with cash flow or anything, we've got a lot of really great minds on the chat here right now. Mm-hmm. Throw those out, right? What's delaying you from adopting 100% upfront, or why do you think it won't work, or whatever, right? And so I think if you were like, I hear all the time, I can't do that because my clients won't do it, right? Have you talked to your clients about it? And I hear a lot of times people talking about the school districts won't do it. I know people who deal with schools and they're 100% upfront.
Absolutely.
So it's just because you know what, that those schools, they still buy from Amazon. Those schools, they still send the football coach to the clinic in Florida, right? They have previously purchased something up front and didn't put it on a PO. So why can't that be you? So have that discussion with them. All right. So Mike says, Profit First is nice. Had taxes in the bank to write the check. Exactly. I just did my taxes, had all the money in the bank, and it's just boop, there, done.
Marshall, one other thing. People always say, my clients won't let me. And I hear this all the time. Our market is just different. No, it's not. You're allowing it to be different. Your clients maybe are, but the rest of the market that is profitable isn't. You might have the bottom of the rung people that nobody wants to deal with.
Maybe you've got the wrong customers.
Yeah. I don't care if it's Michigan, Florida, Arizona, Iowa, California. Nobody's customers are special.
Yeah. So if your customer, put it this way, to me, a good customer is one that pays me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what, to me, that qualifies you as a customer, is that you pay me.
Yeah.
Right. So if I have to hunt you down for money, right, and look at your accounts receivable list, right? What does that look like? Are you past 15? How many are past 30? How many are past 60?
Yeah.
Right. Those aren't good customers for you.
No.
Just saying. All right.
And what Rob says too, if he deals with this like I do on some bigger vendors that are on net 30 in the manufacturing world, we still use that. But man, this is where relationship comes in there. Everybody runs into a problem. Everybody has issues sometimes. This is where you can order from anybody. But man, if you don't have a supplier relationship, you're gonna be in trouble, because you want that
Right.
when hard times come. And through COVID, you found out who those relationships were.
Right. All right. So where are we here? Right. So Charles says we had no blowback when we changed 100% up front. Ludicrous for shops not to. Exactly.
Agreed.
Mike says if you have a customer, give them an invoice, and by the time it's ready, you have the payment. Exactly.
Yep.
Tim says I had an old client recently asked for new work. Before I agreed to do anything, I had them pay the old past due amount and pay new upfront retainer for the new work at today's rates.
Great.
So this is very interesting because Tim's an attorney. How come that they had anything on past due anyway? Right?
Yep.
This is true for people not in our industry just as much as it is true for people in the industry, right? So get paid up front. I love it. Right. And of course, Richard says the goal addresses this.
Yep.
And we were talking about the goal on the Shirt Lab Q&A the other day, and we had a big discussion about it, which is a book by Eli Goldratt, is super incredibly famous. If you've never heard of it, please look it up on Amazon or get to know Richard, and he can send you his PDF copy. So, all right. Where are we on our thing? So let's go. Today's a good show. We got a lot going on. All right. Open mind.
I'm not.
Alan, what are we talking about here?
I don't know. I don't think about stuff like that. I just do what I do.
All right, jerky.
Yeah.
So having an open mind is really about entertaining a thought that you might never considered, or maybe is diametrically opposed to what you think now.
Right.
Right. And so having an open mind, I think one of the things that I really want you to consider is the label that you color yourself with. This is the filter, right? So maybe you're a screen printer and everything to you looks through the lens of screen printing, which is why you poo-poo DTG, DTF, embroidery, laser etching, whatever, right? You're a screen printer and everything is about screen printing. And anything besides screen printing is just, oh, that doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Look, the hand's different, the colors are different or whatever. In the meantime, there's people making millions of dollars doing it a different way and absolutely crushing it, right? And so, and this could be not just with printing, but this could be with a new sales platform or a new way of working or a new way of doing anything, right?
Yeah.
Having an open mind, I think, is really important right now because guess what? There are a lot of external pressures on businesses. And I think sometimes it pays to think about how I could do something differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just talked about inflation. We just talked about cash flow, right? So that 1990s grunge way of doing something might not be working or might not be working as well as it could be if you just started to do something differently, right? So having an open mind to me is really about understanding that there could be something out there for me, a different way of doing something. What is it?
Well,
right?
We've been forced to look at different things. I know on the production side, you know, aside from supply chain issues, which have caused everything, nobody is on here that we've talked to is, you know, has been frustrated. Yes. Manufacturers are frustrated. Suppliers are frustrated. End users are frustrated. Your customers are frustrated.
Right.
But it is forced. And I'm not an apparel guy where I know everything, but I know Richardson caps are like gold now. If I have them in my closet, I can sell them on eBay for an exuberant amount of money. You know,
but there are other hat makers, and I know people who actually have reverse engineered the Richardson hat and they're getting them made somewhere else.
Absolutely. This is where I mean about open mind. You have to start looking at other things on there. I'm a Bella Canvas t-shirt guy. Fine. Well, if Bella Canvas is out, you might have to look at a Sanmar. You might have to look at a Jerseys. You might have to see what they have at these other manufacturers.
Right.
If, in the production end of it for garment decorating, for screen, we could talk about ink all you want. But the biggest problem has been aerosols. Distributors can't get them. It was worldwide, and there are still people not using a water-based palette adhesive, which you should be using anyways, just because it is phenomenally less expensive to do. And you could say it doesn't work. I don't like it on there. Yeah, you're just not trying. You don't want it to work. It does work.
Yeah.
Every time.
Hey, and interesting segue here is we've got, let me take that down, right?
Yep.
We've got our sponsor, GSG, their Spring Pulse magazine. If you go to gogsg.com, you can see this, right? Mm-hmm. It is the text tack right here. Let me zoom in, right? So it's a water-based pressure-sensitive adhesive designed for adhering textiles to pallets in screen printing process, provides consistent registration without transferring to the garment.
Yep.
10% off. And then here's a cool tip that Mark with GSG was talking about the other day, which is adding a couple drops of food coloring to it, right? And here's a QR code so you can watch the video of how, because it's clear. How do I know where it is on the platen, right? Yep. So if you add some blue or red or green or whatever, just a couple drops, so it's tinted slightly. It's no longer clear. Now you know where it is, and that helps you with your application onto the board.
This is such a phenomenal product, water-based palette adhesive. If you are screen printing and you're not using a water-based palette adhesive, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Get it and try it. I have people that use it straight. I have them put it on with a roller. I have them put it on with a card. I have one company that actually puts it in a spray bottle and reduces it 60% with water and sprays it in a spray bottle. Now they take the nozzles off every night and put them in a thing of water. You got to keep them open, but you can do it all the time on it. This is incredible stuff. Aerosols are expensive. They're hard to get now. Did I mention they were expensive? And
plus, you're breathing glue, man.
And you're putting glue overspray on an automatic that actually has moving parts. The glue is not a lubricant.
Wait. Glue is not a lubricant?
Yes, I just found that out. It was shocking to me. And, if you wonder why your manual printers and your automatics are growing fuzz and hair, it is not a change of life. It is your overspray. It is wrecking your capital investment. You need to be using a water-based palette adhesive. That is not quite like a screen opener ramp, but it's coming close. But I see it all the time. So now, here's the other thing too. I know on fleece, you'll have to use more, and web adhesive became almost extinct. And sometimes you just use less web adhesive. You still use the water-based palette adhesive. Use a little bit of web. Do what you have to do. If you're out of web adhesive, you might have to add it more. So what?
Yeah. So, and what we don't want is so much glue that the shirt sticks to the platen, and then also that it's all on the inside of the shirt. So the actual inside of the shirt sticks to the backside of the shirt.
Yep.
Like that's just too much. And so if you're applying the product on, like I like using the like a car wrap installer card, whatever that thing's called, right?
Yep. Little plastic squeegee.
Yep. Yeah. And so you put the actual adhesive in a condiment bottle, like a mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup bottle, right? Cut the tip off a little bit so the hole's a little bigger, and then just squirt a little on, and then just use the card to thin it out all over the board, right? That's going to really have you control the amount that you're putting on there. And if you have tinted the adhesive, then you know where it actually is going.
Yep.
Right. So,
And there are different glues. Tex-Tech is one type of it.
right.
On there are glues for dry fit polyesters. There are glues that are heavier in viscosities. There are glues made for sprayers. Check with your supplier on a water-based pallet adhesive. Get the best one for you.
Right. So
But
anyway, go GSG right
.com.
at the top. You can see their Pulse magazine. Just click that. There's pages and pages of stuff in there
Yep.
just for you. But that's what we wanted to highlight today.
And I don't know of another dealer, the amount of work they put into that Pulse magazine. They have it for screen. They have it for sign. They have them for everything. They'll come out with another one, a summer one coming out soon. But man, you need to get those because there's savings.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. Savings are part of how we battle inflation. Savings helps cash flow.
Sure.
This is all about it.
Yeah. Also, if your current supplier is out of stuff, here's an opportunity for you to find maybe somebody new that can help you.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So let's get some more comments. Charles says, thank you for Richard and Marsh for sending me that PDF of the goal. You're welcome. Richard says the goal addresses net profit, return on investment, and cash flow as the big 3 focus points of business. Yes. Ray says, yes, the last thing I can say to help in these times is to diversify. It does not always take new equipment and investment. Learn new techniques and materials for what equipment you have. Yes, open mind.
Absolutely.
Think about it. What else can we do, right? Luis says, morning from Oceanside, California. Hey, good to see you. I'm getting some lift up from due to wet on wet discharge printing. Could this be due to not enough glue? I'm using a similar water-based glue. Thanks. So the lift is in the shirt, not the print, right? That's what
I was just going to ask that. If it's the shirt, it could be. Remember these water-based pallet adhesives? You put them on, run them under the flash as you're putting the other one on especially on the other pallets, and it heats it up a little bit. So make sure you're doing that. Just don't put them on and start gluing right there. You need to heat them up a little bit, but yeah.
And another thing that sometimes helps, it depends on the product, of course, is to put some water in a mister bottle and just lightly reapply some water, and that makes the glue a little tackier for a little bit longer, so you don't have to reapply as much.
Correct. So he says, yes, the shirt is lifting up. The question is do you have enough down? Is it happening all the time or just as you're in your print run? If you're in your print run, it's what Marshall said. You probably just need a little bit more tack. Instead of adding more glue, just mist it, and it'll come back up.
Right. And then also on some shirts, like for example, Bella Canvas, the flowy shirts that have a lot of viscose in it, if your dwell or your flash unit is too hot or your dwell time's too long, you can actually scorch those shirts very easily. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that the air in between the shirt and the board gets super heated, and that causes it to scorch. So if you were and I know this from years of doing stuff, if you apply your glue all over the board instead of just where the print is, what happens is the air doesn't have a chance to get superheated and scorch the shirt. So you really want to make sure you're applying your adhesive properly for best use. And this is another way, if you were to tint your glue, you would know where it is and where it isn't. And you can also help you identify, why is it scorching right there? Okay. And that's because you've superheated the air, and that is scorching the shirt, right? Mm-hmm. Which makes it either discolored or it makes the fabric feel kind of crispy, like burnt toast, right? Maybe there's no discoloration, but it's no longer soft and pliable and nice. It just feels weird. You scorched the shirt, and it's because you've overheated it.
Right.
Hopefully
that helps, Luis. If not, email me and call me or whatever.
So Ray's got to go. Hey, thanks, Ray.
Mr. Greenwood, good to see you. Yep.
Right. So do you have another topic lined up? Yeah. So we've got a couple minutes left. So let's talk about employee retention real quick. I know everybody right now is probably trying to find employees, but one of the things that you want to make sure you're doing is keeping your employees.
Right.
And so do you have an on-purpose employee retention program? Right. This is a lot to do with engaging your people, right? Are you making sure that they feel like they're wanted, right? Are you saying thank you? Like you don't have to buy them lunch and gift cards and stuff. Sometimes it's just a pat on the back and a good job, right? They know that you appreciate them, that you're not, because here's what I want to tell you is sometimes you have to get the words out of your head and into somebody else's, right? So you might think, yeah, we love our employees, right? But if you never say it, how do they know? And you might say, well, it's obvious, but to them it isn't, right? So what are you doing on purpose for that, right? And what do you think about this, Alan?
Well, everybody wants to be paid well. A laborer is worthy of his hire. I firmly believe that, but everybody is different. The managers in the companies I work for that I feel that I do the best job for is when I feel like I am valued, that my opinion is at least listened to, and that I am asked for, where I feel like I am contributing and they know that and they do that. I have no desire to own a company, never have. I have family members that own large companies. That's fine. I'm just not built that way. But I am a team guy. I want to be a team that we are moving forward and that I am appreciated. Sometimes it's just a manager saying, nice job. Sometimes it's like, when they look out for your well-being, and I think we learned this last week, so I'm afraid to even say it, because one of my managers, Alex, does listen and lurk, and we saw that last week he was. But Alex has actually told me and other guys, because we have a good team, we work hard, where he just said, Alan, go to your cottage. And you know what? I can still work from there. Why are you not going up there on the weekends? Why are you not going up on a Thursday? I have customers up there. Go do that. When you have a boss saying, take some time.
Yeah.
Enjoy. That means a lot. They're looking out for you. They know that you will do better when you're relaxed, because burnout helps no one. And those are the little things that mean a lot to me.
Yeah. Mental health is important.
Exactly. And that's me. So you need to find out, Marshall. Now, you've been a manager over a lot. Everybody's different, but everybody has their little touches, their little things. And I think that's important on employee retention. For me, it's never been, but I shouldn't say it's never been about the money, but it has been about where I'm appreciated, where it's going mostly.
Yeah, I think it's important that you speak with employees and you actually do performance reviews on a regular scheduled basis. I've been to shops before, and one of my questions is about, well, tell me about your performance review program. And they go, we haven't done anything in 3 years. And I'm like, how is that possible? And it's just because they don't make time for it.
Right.
And your employees need to know they matter. They need to know that you actually appreciate what they're doing, and then you can help them get to the next level. And, what's going on? Is there a career here for me? Right. And people need to know that stuff. And I think if you don't do employee performance reviews on a regular basis, if you're not doing the things that you need to do to manage your company, this is the reason why people leave. This is the reason why they quit. That old Johnny Paycheck song, take this job and shove it, wasn't about pay, right? It was because of his manager. Right. And so that's the reason why people quit, is because they don't like the way the company is run. So I think you really need to put some effort into this. If you have employees, even one employee, right? You have to say thank you. You have to be appreciative. You have to engage with them, ask them questions. What can I do to help you? And if you're in management, your number one job is to elevate the performance of your people. Right. And if you do a really good job of that, your people are going to succeed. Then you as a manager succeed. It's a cause and effect, right?
If you treat, when you do a performance review too with someone, these can't be scary things.
No,
I've been a company, I hated them. And because it was just them just beating you down just so you can get a pittance of a little bit back.
Right.
more. And you know what? This needs to be, hey, we value your opinion. I want you to value mine. And when you have that relationship, I have one, not an employee review. We have a quarterly review coming up Monday. Am I worried? No, looking forward to it. I'm going to have my numbers ready. I'm going to have everything ready.
Right.
I love doing that. It's like we are honing in our plan.
Yeah. And if it's about how can we help you succeed, if that's the tone of the discussion, it's great. If you give somebody a crap sandwich, which is a compliment with a negative with a compliment, they see through that. Okay. People aren't stupid. Okay. So do yourself a favor and develop a performance review program and really help people understand why they should work for you. It's super important. And then, all right. So we got some comments. Charles says, here's a decent video about adhesives. Great. Thank you, Charles. Simon says, PM me about glue.
Simon knows a thing or two about glue.
Louise says, awesome. I'll send you a message. Thanks, Alan.
We'll put my email up there if you can.
I will in 2 seconds. And then Richard says, path to promotion needs to be a promise that can be achieved.
Correct. Great comment, Richard. Yeah.
Here's Alan.
You're absolutely right. There's mine there.
So we reach out. So, hey, our time's up. Wow. This show went quick.
Flew by.
Went quick. And so we want to wish everybody a happy Easter. Hope you take some time to be with your family and hang out and take some time off and, hug your kids and whatever you got to do. So
what are you doing this Easter for Easter, Marshall? Anything?
Yeah, I'm going to the airport and getting on a plane.
Oh, are you Sunday? Okay. Yeah.
So, but my son's off from school today, and we're going to be going to lunch here as a family, which we don't do much. And so that's going to be kind of fun. And so we got some family stuff going on. And,
Yeah, I will be Sunday having a brunch with my brothers and my stepmom.
Great.
Which is great. She is, I've said it before, 100% Polish. My stepmom, my mom is very Southern. My stepmom, 100% Polish. So it'll be pierogies and
they're cooking. You're not going somewhere. They're going to somebody's house and cooking.
Yeah, to Kathy's house. So it'll be pierogies and good sausage and yeah, it'll be a good time. So
good.
We always have a good time when we're together. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, great. So Hurley says, happy Easter. Sarah says, thanks, guys. Great show. Thank you, Sarah. Come back next week.
Absolutely.
And then Charles says, happy Easter, y'all.
You too, Charles. So.
Do you use y'all in New Mexico? I guess they do.
I think they do everywhere. I use y'all, but again, that's from my mom and grandmother.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Florida, so that's a real word there.
It is.
All right. Well, you guys have a great weekend, and thanks for watching. And we'll check in next week.
Hurley says he's going to go get a turkey. Do one, get one for us. Have a great week, guys.
Right.